Hey, what is up, crypto people? I'm bringing you a video today about Finecoin. It is one of the ICOs that I'm in, and one of the ones that I'm actually pretty excited about, despite the lack of attention I think it's getting. I did actually make a video review of Finecoin previously, a few days ago, because I actually got into this ICO a couple of weeks ago, back when the pre-ICO was on. But so much has changed since then, with the whole ICO lending space, as well as Finecoin themselves. So I thought I would redo the video with the updated information and tell you why I decided to get involved with them. It is in fact the last opportunity to actually buy into Finecoin during the ICO as well. The last round is tomorrow, in 22 hours, as you can see here on the homepage, as that ticker is counting down. So if after this video you decide to go and take a look yourself and decide you want to jump into Finecoin, I've dropped my link below in the description. If you wanted to use that, I'd appreciate that. If not, you can just head over to finecoin.io and register over there. So, take a look at their website first of all. One of the things that I tend to notice straight away about an ICO is whether or not they've gone heavy with graphics and stuff like that, whether or not they've used a fully fledged template or not. And it looks like Finecoin haven't done that, which is a good thing. It looks like they've sort of gone their own way, and they've not overloaded you with graphics and novelty stuff just to try and draw you in. It's pretty clean. So scrolling down, we see a bit of information here. It goes into Finecoin and an introductory video. Then gives you a little bit of information about the project. And of course it gives you the roadmap. These guys started back in early January, so whilst they're new, just like all these lending platforms are, they're not as new as many of them, who have only popped up in the last few months. It says here that the first line of code was written back in February of 2017. So, you know, they've been cracking at it for a while, and that brings me on to another really important point as to why I liked them and decided to invest, and that was the fact that before they even launched their pre-ICO, the majority of their platform was actually already completed and ready to go, with the exception of, you know, the exchange, which needed some finishing touches, I guess, and the lending and stuff. But obviously, they wouldn't need to be ready until the end of the ICO anyway. But that did make it, you know, stand out from the other ICOs that I've been in, all of which seem to start the development during or after the ICO when they actually know they've got some funds to work with. Whereas with Finecoin, the fact that they had that all done beforehand shows that they, you know, they put their money where their mouth was. They were willing to use their own money or money that they had found from prior investments to actually get that done before coming to the public, or rather the ICO space, and presenting the project to us. So moving on, here it says the beta was actually finished in November, and then the pre-ICO in January, which is where I found out about the project, I did my own research and decided to invest. Okay, and as we go down a bit further, they talk about future plans, a bit more about themselves, and then on to the hosted staking, which of course used to be referred to as lending. Now honestly, as far as we can tell, there's not a huge amount of difference. But basically this is what a lot of platforms are now doing. They're moving away from lending and doing staking instead. Now the reason this is called hosted staking rather than just staking is because this can be done from the wallet on their website, and interest from the staking can be withdrawn on a daily basis, I'm led to believe, whereas traditional staking, the coins would be stored offline on a wallet on your device, and it would be for a longer period of time, and therefore you wouldn't be able to take those earnings out as regularly. But again, just like lending, they've got these tiers here. So if you're staking, 100 to 1,000 coins, you'll be getting a certain rate. If you're staking over 1,000 up to 10,000, you'll be getting the daily rate plus 0.1%, and so on. Their referral system, and then another great thing is that they include some FAQs down at the bottom here, and these are actually pretty useful. For example, here they mention withdrawals. They haven't locked up withdrawals on the platform at any stage during the ICO. People have been able to take their Bitcoin and Ethereum out at any point, which is a great thing and something you should look for in an ICO, because that is one sign of trust, and that they are not going to run away with your money at the end of the ICO. And as far as I'm aware, they stuck to that promise, and there was never any problems with people withdrawing. One of the other questions here, which I'll point out, is the limit of Finecoins you can purchase. Now, I mentioned earlier that this ICO hasn't been as largely talked about as many of the others, like LoopX, Chrysos, Thorn, the ones that the bigger YouTubers have been really pumping. And everyone has their own reasons for not investing, and I've got my reasons for investing. One of the reasons that I'd heard as to why some people didn't want to invest in Finecoin was that the limit for purchasing was too low. Now there's one major reason that a project will do this, and that is to keep out the whales, and that is beneficial to the platform for its long-term survival. You want as many people in the platform with small to medium holdings, as it spreads the risk, minimises the chance of huge dumps, especially on the launch of the exchange. So personally, I saw that as a good thing. I mean, I don't have the money, I'm not investing with huge amounts of money, so I wouldn't be able to buy in with the amounts that they were probably talking about. But either way, even if I did have that, I wouldn't be too bothered, because I understand the reasoning. And you could just go ahead and purchase in multiple rounds if you wanted more. So I wouldn't see that as a reason not to invest in this project. Okay, and that brings us to the bottom. Another thing I noticed on the website was the fact that they actually offered a contact email address. Now, back when I first saw this was actually the first website that I'd seen provide an email address, any form of direct contact, which surprised me and I thought was really a step forward in terms of communication. Since then, I have seen a lot of the ICOs that I'm in do have them as well. I'm not sure if I just missed them initially or if they've added them since, because there has been a lot of backlash against these ICOs about not including or not communicating enough or not providing any means of contacting them when there's been problems and just to get updates and stuff like that. So again, that was another thing I liked. And then also they've got their the usual social channels. And then if we take a look at the white paper, I won't go through this, you can go and take a look at this yourself, but I'll highlight a couple of things. Excuse me. It goes through all the usual stuff, talks about centralization, or decentralization rather, and fast transactions, low cost, all the same sort of things that any altcoin or lending platform is going to be talking about. Importantly, the coin specifications here, and you'll notice it's got quite a low coin supply of 12 million. It is a mineable coin as well, which is good. It adds to the longevity of the project. It's proof of staking, proof of work. That's what these two acronyms here stand for. Okay, so as we saw on the home page, the wallets will also be released. And then you have a section here about communication, and like I was saying before, it's incredibly important, especially nowadays with all the uncertainty out there. It's important that they communicate with us so that we know that they're there, that they're sorting problems out, trying to make things better, ensuring that things go smoothly, and all that good stuff. Awareness. So this is another really important thing, is marketing, especially after the ICO, once the exchange is ready. Bringing in new users and ensuring a constant sort of buzz around the project is important. So the fact that they are talking about brand awareness shows again that they know what they're talking about, and that they have a plan as to how to go about that. The team just says they're a good team, basically. Culturally diverse, 9 different nationalities. Doesn't say that they're from particular backgrounds like banking or trading or anything like that, but honestly, when you read that on a white paper or website, it really means nothing anyway. They could just be making that up for all we know, so it's irrelevant, to be honest. More about referrals, and then that's pretty much that. Okay, so that's the white paper. Now, actually on their website here, and this is where we get to the really good stuff. So when I first logged in to this, I was like, wow, this map here, I just thought it was a really cool feature, although it doesn't really add anything. It was just nice to see, as it shows their user base and where people are from. You can see the little home icon here on Greenland, which obviously signifies that that's where they're based. Yeah, just an interesting thing to look at, I guess, knowing where the majority of their investors are from. Oh, something I forgot to mention, one thing which did initially bug me, I wouldn't say it concerned me necessarily, but yeah, it just bugged me a bit, was that it didn't mention how many coins would actually be available in the ICO. It only mentioned that there'd be 12,000 in total. Now, I did look high and low. I checked the white paper, the website, I checked their Telegram, I've checked through the website, and unless I'm missing it, it's not mentioned anywhere. Now, that could be seen as a strange thing. It could just be an oversight, or it could simply be down to the fact that perhaps they knew that there might be changes and that the amount would vary slightly. Now, whether that would be seen as a bad or good thing, I don't know. There's so much, this is still such a new industry that we really can't say, and everything's speculation, really. So what I did was I just went into the ICO calendar, which has been updated, and I just added up all the rounds, and it basically comes to 6 million. So basically looking at half the total amount of coins are being sold in the ICO, which is fairly average. You could possibly want to see it a little lower, especially with a mineable coin, but I think that's fairly reasonable. So going back to the dashboard here, if you scroll down, they have the ICO calendar here as well. Now here it shows that it extends up to the 10th, possibly into February. Sorry, we're already in February. It extends up to the 12th, but that was before they changed the ICO structure. They brought the rounds closer together with more coins per round. So the final one is tomorrow, the 8th, Thursday the 8th of February. And you can see here the change from 250,000 per round to 500,000 per round. And that was following feedback from the community and discussion amongst themselves about how best to get things running sooner rather than later. And that's been another theme with them, really. They've been pretty responsive to the community. They've put out a lot of communications as to what they're doing. They've involved the community of their investors. Reacted to our requests, or suggestions rather. So that's another really good thing to see in an ICO. If we take a look at the other features on here, you can see the wallet page, and I guess this is a good time to point out, you'll have noticed here that not only have we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also Ripple and Tether. Now they added Ripple about a week ago. That is now live and working. You can deposit and withdraw Ripple. And Tether has just been added, and that will be live soon. And this is what I was talking about earlier, the fact that they're adding other major currencies to their platform as a means of exchange. And this again adds to the longevity of the project, and it will bring other investors in who want to purchase some of these other major altcoins, rather than going to the big exchanges that need all your ID and impose trading limits. You can just come here instead, create a Finecoin account, and buy your Ripple in here, which again adds to the value of the project and increases the price of Finecoin. Looking at the exchange, you can see obviously it's sort of all in place but not live yet. There's some data in here which I guess is just some testing that they've been doing. But yeah, it does say under construction, coming soon. And then the hosted staking section here, which they've updated from the lending page. And looking at these interest rates, it's quite promising. So you can see here it ranges from just over 1.5% up to 2.4%. 2.5%, which are good rates. So again, this looks really good, and this should be live fairly soon after the ICO finishes. Looking at the transactions page, just simply shows you a list of transactions. You can see here my purchase back in the ICO, pre-ICO, of 1,000 coins, which was the minimum purchase. And this was a bonus that they paid out to anyone that had purchased during the ICO, which was a nice little surprise. And another great thing about this is that they actually have a support ticket system built into the website. So if you have any problems, you can go ahead and create a ticket in here. I've not had any problems, so I've not had to use it, but that's a good thing, I guess. So I can't speak to how quickly they reply or how well this works, but I assume it's fine. So that is the website. Now, if I just open up their Telegram, they've got two channels, like a lot of these ICOs. They've got an announcement one, which is private, it just gives you messages from them. And as you can see here, they are putting out notifications all the time, sharing any updates with you, letting you know how the rounds have gone. So it's a good thing to see. And if you come up to the top here, they also link a tutorial document, which was a nice thing to see. Now, I saw this on another ICO at some point. I can't remember which it was, but I've not seen it on many, and this was definitely the first one I saw it on. So again, it shows that they've put that time and effort into ensuring people know how to use the platform. So it's going to reduce the amount of problems people have. It goes through 2FA, how to use your wallet, make deposits. It adds another level of professionality that you just don't see in a lot of other ICOs. And then if we look at their chat, you can see there's a big active community in here, 1,800 members. Oh yeah, in fact, I was going to mention that when we were on the home page. You can see it's just reached 40,000 members, which is pretty good going for an ICO, especially before the ICO is even finished. And if we take a look at the information for this, you can see that there is one admin in the channel. Here he is. Oops, not him. Dirk, what's up? And if we search for Dirk, it will show you his posts. So you can see he's been active today answering questions. You can withdraw any time. See here. So it's not like they've created this channel and then they're just not talking to anyone. They are in here, they are answering questions as and when they can. And again, this is contrary to a lot of other ICOs who create a channel, stick in a couple of announcements and forget about it. And then there was one last thing I wanted to tell you just about the ICO and the final round tomorrow. PJ3, my man, one of the YouTubers I follow, he put out a quick video earlier. He's in touch with one of the devs, the media guy at Finecoin, Lucas, and he sent a message to him earlier just to let people know that because there are now some extra coins floating about from refunds that they gave to people, they're actually going to give anyone who buys in tomorrow's round at 95 cents an opportunity to buy again in a special round following that round for just 53 cents. So that's almost pre-ICO price. And I'll just play this quick snippet here for you.
Hey PJ3, tomorrow's our last ICO round and we have something really special planned for tomorrow. As you've been such great help, we'd like to announce it. As you might know, we offered refunds to people who didn't like that. We are switching to hosted staking. There were around 150,000 Finecoins that were returned with an average price of 53 cents. Okay? So here's the deal. Everyone who buys Finecoin in tomorrow's sale will have the chance to participate in a special round where they will be able to buy these 150,000 Finecoins for 53 cents. All right, what do you say? Can you help us put this out there and get it out there? Have an awesome day, Lucas. So there you go, guys. So if you...
Yeah, so that's really great news and nice to see them actually giving back to investors. But essentially what happened there was, because of the changes that they'd made in reaction to the legislation and stuff like that, changing from a lending to staking platform, they realised that some investors might not be happy with the direction that they were headed. So they actually did something which I've not seen anyone in this space do up till now, and that was to actually offer a full refund on any purchases they made into the platform. And they went ahead with that, and that is where these 150,000 coins have come from. So yeah, kudos to them for doing that. And yeah, if you want to head over to PJ3's channel, give him a like and subscribe to him as well. He puts out some great content. Just a final thing that I wanted to point out was the fact that, as you know now, that they have Ripple and other coins as part of their platform. What is really good and was great news to hear from them, as you can see here in this post from them the other day, is that interest from the hosted staking can be paid. You basically can choose what coin you get that paid out in. You get that choice. It could be Finecoin, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Ripple, although why I would want to do that, I do not know. So, that choice alone is just a huge thing, and the fact that you can have it paid out directly in Bitcoin and then withdraw that without having to go to the internal exchange is just huge. So again, that's a first as far as I'm aware for staking lending platforms. Should we call them lending platforms anymore? Staking platforms? I don't know. So yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. I just really like this platform. The proactive stance that they seem to take on everything they do is really promising, and I just think it's going to be a really great platform, possibly the best in 2018, as long as it lasts, and hopefully that is for a long time. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has helped you make a decision as to whether or not you want to go and look into this ICO yourself. Of course, make sure you do your own research, see if it's for you, make your own decision. And again, if you did want to join, you can use my link below or head over to finecoin.io. But as always, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notifications bell, and have an awesome day.